But here's where it gets controversial. Trump's latest memo targets domestic terrorism amid fears of a broad crackdown on critics, sparking debates over legality and civil liberties. The administration claims the move aims to dismantle organized political violence. Yet critics argue it risks framing peaceful dissent as extremism. Here's the full story. Trump's memorandum, unveiled Thursday, seeks to address what he calls a radical left-wing domestic terror network. Though critics warn it could unleash a legal storm, the memo, part of a broader strategy involving FBI task forces and the Department of Justice, highlights concerns over groups like the Open Society Foundations, which had previously criticized the DOJ's plans to target them. However, the ACLU's Hina Shansi condemned the memo as a dangerous attempt to label nonprofits and activists as terrorists, calling it a shameful escalation of First Amendment violations. The memo's core argument is that political violence is a catalyst for societal change, but its execution raises eyebrows. Trump hinted at targeting funders of extremist groups, though he remained vague about specific entities. A Columbia Law School professor, Daniel Richman, noted that the memo doesn't create new laws, but leverages existing frameworks to investigate ideological opponents. Yet, he warned that the administration's focus could distort the line between legitimate dissent and terrorism, particularly when groups like anti-fascist organizations, Antifa, are labeled as domestic terrorists. The controversy deepens with the recent Dallas ICE shooting, where a suspect allegedly used a bullet inscribed with anti-ICE to attack a facility. Authorities declined to link the attacker to a specific group, leaving the connection to Democrats and Trump's immigration policies murky. In response, Trump labeled Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, a move critics argue undermines civil rights protections. The memo also ties to the murder of far-right pundit Charlie Kirk, which Trump and supporters blamed on a left-wing conspiracy, despite evidence suggesting the suspect acted alone. This pattern mirrors earlier attacks, where right-wing extremists targeted Democrats, complicating the narrative of left-wing radicalism. As the memo circulates, experts caution against overgeneralizing political violence. Stephen Miller, a White House Deputy Chief of Staff, hailed the initiative as historical, but emphasized its focus on dismantling left-wing networks, ignoring recent incidents where Republicans targeted Democrats. The memo's sweeping approach risks normalizing tactics that, while legally ambiguous, have been used to suppress dissent in the past. In a Twitter post, Trump linked the Dallas attack to Democrats, echoing his rhetoric against law enforcement. However, authorities clarified the suspect lacked affiliations with any known group. The memo's legacy will depend on how courts interpret its legal weight, especially as it faces challenges from civil rights advocates who argue it echoes historical abuses of power. So, what does this mean for the future? Will the memo's broad language lead to more arrests, or will it galvanize grassroots movements? And how do we balance national security concerns with the protection of free speech? These questions linger as the administration pushes forward with its agenda.